We've had confirmation from National Highways that sadly they're going to have to replace the bridge, which will take approximately 2 to 3 years.
And throughout the last few months, whilst we've had the bridge closure, Claire and I have been meeting with representatives from National Highways for regular updates that we've been sharing with you. And given that news, we have another update today. We've been meeting regularly throughout this process, and you did tell us that a decision would be made about the future of the bridge by December. So here we are. What's the decision, please?
Unfortunately, it's not good news. The bridge is going to have to remain closed until we can replace it. We've completed the assessment, and the conclusion of that is that whilst it's safe to be left without traffic on it, it's not safe and not functional to put traffic back on. So the reason for that is that any traffic loading on it will cause a little bit of differential movement in the bridge, which will cause concrete to fall onto the M4 below. In its current state, it's perfectly safe. It's perfectly safe for just its own dead load, and it's also safe for pedestrians and cyclists and alike. It just cannot take traffic loads. So we'll be looking at demolishing the bridge and replacing it with a new online structure.
So how long is it going to take to replace the bridge?
Claire, it's going to take in the region of 2 to 3 years. We do need to fine-tune the programme, so we're still working on the construction programme, but in a ballpark figure is 2 to 3 years.
Residents have been experiencing a lot of disruption, and the thought of that carrying on for another 2 to 3 years is going to be really disappointing for people. Is there anything you can do to speed that up?
Yep, so we're looking at condensing that programme. We're also trying to look at the construction side of it, so we're trying to fine-tune the construction side. The programme is still in its very infancy, so we're looking at how we can build it and whether we can shave any time off of that. The 2 to 3 years was from the start point when we started the actual investigation works back in July, so we're into that programme already. We're going to be starting work in January doing vegetation clearance, so we're going to replace the bridge in the current position. So when we say online, we mean this bridge has got to be knocked down and a new bridge built in its place. So we'll be starting vegetation clearance, establishing site compounds, things like that in January. Ground investigations will be starting in February. Service diversions to get rid of all of the services out of the bridge, most probably in March, April, May time. And then we're looking at a window for demolition of either midsummer or early autumn.
Okay. So what sort of services do we have running through this bridge?
So through the bridge itself, we've got on the western side, we've got a medium pressure gas main and all of the fibre optic cables. On the eastern side, we've got 2 11 kilovolt cables and 2 10-inch water mains.
So what are your plans for those?
So we're going to divert those out of the bridge. We're going to actually divert those down onto and under the motorway to the west of the bridge, so we're clear of any room that we need for demolition and everything. So they will be cut and covered underneath the motorway and then taken back up, join the other side.
Thank you very much, Terry. That's been very informative.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
So Sean, how long will the bridge be accessible for pedestrians and cyclists?
So the bridge will remain accessible for pedestrians and cyclists up until demolition, as we've said, will be at some point late summer next year. From that point there will be a period where the bridge is not accessible to non-motorised users, and people will ask us why we're not putting up a temporary bridge. The reality is that most of the activities for a temporary bridge we would require for the new bridge, so we think it's best to get on and provide a replacement.
If a temporary bridge isn't an option, what other things are you looking at to help people get about?
So as part of our assessment for the bridge, we're doing what we call a WHR survey, which is walking, cycling, horse riding assessment and review, where we look at who is using this route, why they're using it and when they're using it. From that baseline information, we'll be in discussions with the council, and we have a period of time between now and demolition to work out the options, what the options might be. So local people will be aware that we've provided a shuttle bus. I have to be frank, it's not been desperately well used, but it is a provision, and it may be that we could utilise something along those lines, but we'll be considering the options. We understand the disruption and frustrating it can be for people, and we're very grateful that they're working with us in the meantime.
It's been confirmed that we are getting a new bridge. It'll take a couple of years, 2 or 3 years to have that built. What's the process of designing a bridge for the 21st century and making sure it's fit for the future?
So with every difficult situation there are opportunities, and as we said, this is going to be a composite bridge. The plan is that it's going to be slightly wider, up to potentially 4 metres wider than the existing bridge, so that throws up some possibilities around sustainable transport. So for example, the cycleways and footways across the bridge could be significantly wider. If the council so wished, they could perhaps put a bus lane across it. So we'll be in discussions with council officers and members as we go forward to see if we can get the very best from this situation.
And as the council, we will want to involve local residents in those consultations as well.
So we are curtailed in terms of what could be provided because there are quite valuable ecological plots either side, but clearly that will be a factor. We wouldn't want to put something back that certainly the council didn't want to see.
Thank you, Sean. Now we know that the bridge behind us is going to be closed for the next 2 to 3 years. We understand that that will have a massive impact on many people. There are over 16,000 vehicle movements on this bridge normally every day. And so we need to talk to residents and find out how we can get through that period.
So since the bridge closed in the summer, the council's highway engineers have taken a number of steps to try to help the traffic continue to move around our network as smoothly as possible. Obviously, put the diversion in place, put temporary traffic lights up at the A432 junction at the Henfield crossroads. But now we know it's going to be closed for longer. They're going to review all the measures and hold an event so that local people can come along and discuss the options.